Military An-72 explodes at airfield near Moscow. DIU shows video. Russians strike Kyiv with Kinzhal and Iskander ballistic missiles. And how dictator Putin counts on exhausting Ukrainian armed forces and Western withdrawal of support. The latest news next. An An-72 military transport aircraft exploded at an airfield near Moscow in Russia, reported by the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine.
On December 12, 2024, an explosion occurred at the Ostafyevo airfield in the Moscow region. The main power unit of the An-72 military transport aircraft, which belonged to the Navy of the aggressor state of Russia, detonated.
The estimated cost of the disabled Russian aircraft is said to be about $4.5 million. The Defense Intelligence of Ukraine reminds that there will be a just retribution for every war crime committed against the Ukrainian people, the intelligence emphasized. Serhiy Popko, head of Kyiv City Military Administration, has reported that the Russians had likely attacked the capital with Kinzhal air ballistic missiles and Iskander Kyiv-23 ballistic missiles in the morning on the 20th of December.
Russian armed forces launched a combined missile strike on Kyiv at around 7 o'clock this morning. It is likely that the enemy used Kinzhal aeroballistic missiles launched from MiG-31K aircraft and Iskander Kn-23 ballistic missiles. As a result of this attack, wreckage fell in 3 districts of the city.
Specifically, an office building, a road surface, and a gas pipe were damaged in the Holosevsky district, leading to a gas leak. 5 cars caught fire. Early reports indicate that 1 person had been killed and another injured. The information is being updated. The facade of an office building was damaged at another location, with subsequent fires recorded on the roof. There was destruction caused on the 14th floor, and it is likely that people are currently trapped there. 2 injured people have been hospitalized. Wreckage caused a fire in a non-residential building in the Solomensky district. The fire has been extinguished and no injuries reported. A fire broke out on the territory of non-residential buildings in the Shevchenkivsky district. Information is being gathered. Information about wreckage falling in the Dniprovsky district has not been confirmed after verification, Popko added. Ukrainian air defense shot down 5 ballistic missiles headed for Kyiv and 40 UAVs in 8 regions of Ukraine during the Russian combined attack on Ukraine on the night of the 19th to 20th of December, while another 20 drones did not reach their targets, reported by Ukrainian's Air Force on social media. About details, starting at 19 p.m. on the 19th of December, the Russians carried out an attack with an Iskander M ballistic missile launched from Russia's Rostov region, a Ha-59, Ha-69 guided missile launched from Russia's Kursk region, and 65 Shahed-type attack UAVs and other types of drones launched from the areas of Bryansk, Milerovo, Oryol, and Primorsko-Akhtarsk. As of 9 a.m. on the 20th of December, 14 Shahed attack UAVs and other types of drones were confirmed downed in Russia's Kursk region, where the Ukrainian military holds some areas under their control, as well as in Ukrainian's Poltava, Sumy, Kyiv, Chernihiv, Cherkasy, Dnipropetrovsk, and Zaporizhia regions. Due to active counteraction by the defense forces, 20 Russian decoy drones disappeared from radar without negative consequences. A nighttime missile and drone strike hit houses, apartment buildings, medical facilities, warehouses, and farms in Dnipropetrovsk, Sumy, Kyiv, and Kharkiv regions. At around 7 a.m. on the 20th of December, the Russians had struck the capital of Ukraine with 5 Iskander M Kn-23 ballistic missiles. The missiles were launched from Russia's Voronezh and Bryansk regions. As a result of combat efforts, air defense shot down all 5 Iskander M Kn-23 ballistic missiles that the Russians had fired at Kyiv.
Unfortunately, there are consequences on the ground after the insidious enemy attack. The wreckage of the downed missiles caused damage and destruction in 5 districts of the capital. Unfortunately, some people were killed and wounded. We ask citizens to respond immediately to reports of the threat of ballistic weapons, as there is very little time to find shelter. follow the recommendations of the emergency services, and take care of yourself and your family.
Russian dictator, terrorist Vladimir Putin believes that Russia is winning and will outlast the resolve of Kyiv and Western countries. Politicians in Western nations must continue supporting Ukraine and work toward ensuring Russia's defeat in the war, the report by the American Institute for the Study of War indicates. The ISW suggests that Putin is unlikely to agree to a lesser deal unless Ukrainians' armed forces inflict further significant defeats on Russia on the battlefield and demonstrate to him that he cannot achieve victory through force. The ISW recalled that during the online speech on December 19th, Putin claimed that Russia has the highest combat readiness in the world and that its defense industry is producing everything needed for the Russian army. He claimed that the battlefield situation is shifting significantly in Russia's favor and that its forces are advancing across the entire front line in Ukraine. Putin boasted that Russian troops are advancing not by 100, 200 or 300 meters, but by square kilometers, progressing toward the objectives he set for the war.
Russian forces' rate of advance in Kursk Oblast and Ukraine has recently slowed, however, Putin's rhetoric notwithstanding. ISW assesses that Russian forces advanced at a rate of roughly 27.96 square kilometers per day in November 2024, but have only advanced at a rate of roughly 17.1 square kilometers per day between December 1st and December 18th.
ISW analysts believe that Putin's formulated theory of victory involves gradual and creeping advances by Russian forces indefinitely. According to the Russian president's logic, this would prevent Ukraine from conducting successful, operationally significant counteroffensive actions against Russian troops and allow Russia to win the war of attrition and willpower against the Ukrainian armed forces. The Institute's analysts argued that this theory of victory is based on Putin's assumptions that Russia can outlast and overcome Western security assistance, Ukrainians' efforts to staff and equip its armed forces, and the West's willingness to continue supporting Ukraine.
Western decision-makers can invalidate these assumptions and compel Putin to negotiate on bases acceptable to the United States, Ukraine, and Europe, by proving their will to continue supporting Ukraine and enabling Ukrainian forces to inflict significant battlefield setbacks on Russia.
Russian dictator Vladimir Putin is attempting to present that the Russian economy is stable and growing, but the reality tells a different story. Rising inflation, high interest rates, and weak economic forecasts are undermining his claims, reported by Institute for the Study of War. Putin continues to portray the Russian economy as strong and stable, despite mounting issues, while acknowledging that inflation has reached 9.2 to 9.3%. He shifted blame onto the Central Bank of Russia, accusing it of improperly managing interest rates. The current rate stands at 21%, with experts predicting a further increase to 23%. Putin's attempts to shift responsibility to officials demonstrate his inability to recognize the impact of Western sanctions and economic pressure. His claim that Russia remains a leading food exporter is particularly telling.
Putin claimed that Russia is able to stand confidently on its own 2 feet in terms of its economy, and noted that Russia remains one of the world's main food exporters, neglecting to mention Russia's continued illegal export of stolen grain from occupied Ukraine.
About details, ISW analysts believe that Putin's claims about the Russian economy are intended to divert attention from the country's real economic problems. Meanwhile, the economists highlight that despite the challenges of war, Ukraine is demonstrating a level of stability that remains out of reach for the Russian economy. According to the economists, the Ukrainian hryvnia exchange rate remains stable, with Ukrainians' GDP expected to grow by 4% in 2024 and 4.3% in 2025. The country's interest rate is currently at a 30-month low of 13.5%, a stark contrast to the economic situation in Russia. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Like and